we are being colonized.
Eh?
Before they will deploy something outside there, they will test it
In
here.
Africa, yeah.
It's just like using a rabbit. You know, if a rabbit dies, you don't really mind, right?
Yeah.
So then after the rabbit, they are going to take it to the low class people. They know that if they die, it doesn't make it. It's not a big stuff. So those things, they won't do it to rich people. They won't do it to those people who they cherish the most. They will do it to us.
Data currently is known as the new oil. But the question is now, as the African continent, are we refining our own data? Are we refining our own oil? And are we really making use of the data and the tech potential? Or are we just handing away our own resources? And maybe how can we change that narrative?
So thank you so much for having me today at the program. And this question is very enlightening because first, in Africa, we are not maximizing what we have. It's just like you having oil in your land and you do not even know that there is oil in the land. And someone else knows that there is oil and is taking the oil without making you aware of what you have, and there's no contract into it and stuff like that. So how is it happening? We are getting to give away our data through all these platforms that exist. Although we still have a lot of data that it's untapped, but you're still giving it out. And I'll explain how we'll do that, because most tools that you see that are free, they are really not free, you know? They are taking something from you apart from giving you all the things, because those tools cost billions of dollars. Why would they give you something that is so valuable for free? You see? So that means that the currency in that case is you. Not you as a person, but you as a data.
Like what platforms are we talking about here?
All the platforms, including all the GPTs that we are using, social media platforms. Every software application that you see out there that it's free, you are actually paying for it one way or the other.
Oh, because we just sign up, or go on Facebook. It's now I must have a Facebook page, I must have a Facebook profile, I must set up my Instagram. And I just set up and put in all the information and all that. I'm like, yeah, this is a free app. I'm using it for my business. I'm not paying anything. I only pay if I want to use the ads and such thing. And I'm like, maybe that's how these big companies actually make their money from the ads that we do and all that. So, but there's another way that you actually utilize our own data.
There's a bigger and a broader way, because you see, if you study the history of how things came to be, you will know that Google is not a tech company as how do I say it didn't come as a tech company in the beginning. Google was a research company. So how did a research company become a tech company? It's because of information, it's because of data, it's because of being in front, because of dominance. You know? So for you to dominate someone, you need to know enough about that person. Or for you to sell someone to someone else, you need to have information about that person. And this is one of the things that many people do not understand. And I was privileged to have this training in data research, data analysis. I also did many works on research, because I have a brother also that owns a research company. So I know what is research and I know what they're looking for. Imagine paying you to ask you questions, to interview you. You're the one answering, but they're paying you for that. They're paying you for testing a good product, something that you are going to eat, you're going to enjoy. It's fun for you, but they'll pay you to test it. Imagine. So what's the catch?
Yeah.
It's the information that they need from you. So Google started as a research company, and then it became what? A tech company. And all these ads that we are seeing, they are all taking it from where? From Google. Why? Because they saw what Google was doing.
Yeah, because I'm even now remembering last year during election, when Namibia had election, you have all these pop-up comes maybe on Instagram and Facebook that have you registered for voting, and are you going to vote? And I'm like, how do these things know that I am? Why are they just popping up? Are they popping out to everyone? How does Facebook know about our own elections?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not just knowing, they also have a sort of control of your mindset. Because you see, when we talk about marketing or when we talk about sales, you need to study human behavior. And you see, if you're a businessman, you do not do that. You don't study a human being. Then you're not going to make business. You're not really going to make a lot because you're going to be dominated instead of you dominating. So they study human behavior, and then through their outcomes, they can now make well decisions, or let me say calculated decisions, like this decision is based on statistics, it's based on data, on information, real-time information that they are very sure, like, let me say 80% that it's not going to fail. They need to be 80% or even more sure that it's not going to fail. And they will have plan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until the plan that you can't even calculate, but they'll have all those plans intact. If this one doesn't work, the other one must work.
And we are sleeping on this as the African continent. So like some say, like the African continent is actually just becoming like we're just a testing ground for Silicon Valley's failed experiments. So do you agree with this statement? And are we building tech sovereignty, or are we just being colonized, but in a different way?
What I agree is on the part whereby we are being colonized. Because you see, being a testing ground, in technology, you have to test everywhere you go. So it's not just Africa on itself. But if it was big pharma, like I mean on medications and stuff like that, yeah, I would have said yes, Africa is a testing ground, because before they will deploy something outside there, they will test it here.
Africa, yeah.
And then they'll take it there when it's already, primed.
Perfect, yeah.
Perfect. It's just like using a rabbit. If a rabbit dies, you don't really mind, right?
Yeah.
So then after the rabbit, they are going to take it to the low class people. They know that if they die, it doesn't make it's not a big stuff. There are even people that get paid to test medications and stuff like that, but on their own risk. So those things, they won't do it to rich people. They won't do it to those people who they cherish the most. They will do it to us. So when it comes to technology, it's not the same, because technology, you really need to know who you are dealing with, and you need to program. And people are having different kinds of programming. The way a rich person behaves, the way he walks, the way he does things is totally different from the way a poor man does it. So even if they've tested something in Africa, it will again be different in the USA. It will be different again in UK or wherever. So when it comes to colonizing Africa, then that one I really agree, because when we speak about software, most of the biggest software developers who work in the background, not the ones you see on TV. Like I'm here, I'm talking, but I have the team working at the office, right? So I'm not the one doing everything. Although I may know and I may do really much, and sometimes I may even know better than all of them, but there are things that I even learn from them. Meaning, they have the expertise and then they come to me. But since I'm the boss, I will always be the one in front.
In the front,
See? But I'll never tell you that I learned this from my team.
Yeah.
So most of the biggest innovations are coming from us, from Africa. You see, I can give you a very good side. A very good side. The founder of Flutterwave.
Flutter waves.
Yes, the first one that stepped down. He was in the USA. He was working there, and then they came with this solution in Africa. That's after they found the gap in Africa. And then the second one as well is having, let me say, he did the same thing. Let me say they are the ones pioneering payments in Africa.
Oh.
You see, but these things are not new in the world. They were there already. PayPal and all these platforms already exist. But they saw they came where? In Africa. And these Africans were so smart to come back and do something in Africa. And today, they are doing billions of dollars. They are making billions of dollars, despite the challenges that Africans gave them. We gave them again.
Interesting, eh? And like, like there's a, which I think, okay, there's actually a theory that these big tech companies, they are secretly harvesting the African data through, like you mentioned, the free apps that we have. Like, and is this crazy, or is it like, is there some truth to it?
No, it's very true. It's very true because as I was explaining about the software development companies, is they get people from Africa, and these people go, and some of them work remotely from Africa, and they do the job for them, right? They are in front there, they
Yeah.
appear, they talk. I'm not saying that they do not know. They really know a lot. They do much, but we have a lot of people in Africa that they would have created great solutions, but they prefer to work for them because of many factors.
Yeah.
Maybe financial, political, or any issue.
Yeah.
But either ways, they do that. And then the solutions come back now from the West, from UK, from wherever, back to Africa. And we pay for the solutions. We could just hire these guys and they could just do it for us here. And then we pay for ourselves. Or even them there, they pay us for the solutions that we are doing. But we do it the other way around, meaning they colonize us in the digital world, or in the digital way. So they take our people and then we pay for what our people built. You see, that is like we didn't optimize the use of our human resources in Africa. Now, the same way it happened with the software, it's the same way it's happening with AI, with data, with all these things. So now they're taking our data, and after taking our data, they will use our data to sell us solutions for us to buy again.
Oh, because we put all our information on
Out there.
these platforms.
Either for free, some of them even pay for it.
Yeah.
If you're paying Copilot or you're paying ChatGPT,
Yeah.
you are paying, but your data itself, it's money.
Oh. But are they like secretly harvesting it, or are they using like procedures, or are they using not procedure, but are they doing it lawfully, or like it's not lawful.
It's when you see that privacy policy, you need to read that.
We don't even read.
People don't read it.
We just paste it in there, and then for us to go accept.
I want GPT right now, and then you go forward, but you do not really know what you're accepting. You see, so they are saying, okay, all the data that you are going to process in our platform, right? You are giving them permission to do whatsoever they've enlisted inside that privacy policy thing. When you say yes, that means you're giving them what? Permission.
Permission to.
And they can do whatever they want according to what is there. And some companies go beyond what they've written in that privacy policy. For example, I explained about Google.
Yeah.
See, when you use Google, what do? They sell your data to bigger firms, your information, your human behavior, how you do things. And when they want to do a certain kind of marketing, they know exactly who to target because they already know everything about you and how you behave. If you will receive that or you won't receive it, they know everything. They even know the next thing that you're about to do or to think. So all these things happen because of the data that you give them. And then when we talk about AI, AI is trained on human intelligence. AI is not more than human intelligence in a machine. You understand? So where is this intelligence coming from? From humans. So they need to get as many as possible so that the AI can be as smart as possible. Now, you can't call an AI smart if it does not have the intelligence of Africans. It has to have intelligence of people all over the world.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's why they will be taking your data, they will be training on your data, on everything you're thinking, when you write, when you request, when you put your documents, when you see, it's learning from you. And one day you won't be surprised that it's even smarter than you because it learned.
It learned everything. And then probably like these big companies, they want to like to have a project, to work on a project maybe on the African continent or other the continent. They just go to these big tech companies. We need the data for this certain country, or we need data for this certain to see how these people operate, how these people think, or like
And the best, or let me say the worst part of it is that even the governments in the USA or wherever
yeah.
don't have the power or the sovereignty of capturing these companies and say, okay, you can do this or you can do that. They don't have that power because these companies play according to the laws. The law states that a company is private. It's private. The government has no power over that company unless the company does something that is not lawful. Now, how sure are you that it's not doing something unlawful?
Unlawful, it's true.
If it's all AI, I can program an AI in my room. No one is there. It's only me.
That's so true. That's so true. And I think also like us now, the African continents, we have countries that do have laws in place when it comes to data privacy. But some like our country, I think Namibia, we don't have a law when it comes to data and privacy as well. I think we have one that is currently in, but it's just a draft. In draft and all that. So even our data can't even be kept here, or those companies they can't, our country can't do anything to say that no, what you are doing, you can't keep your data outside the country or outside the continent.
The thing is, you can't deprive people of something good if you didn't give them that good stuff. I cannot say you can't eat. I have to give you food first, and then I should say you can't eat the food of John because I'm giving you your own.
Yeah.
So if Namibia wants to grow, we need to build our own systems. We need to have our own platforms. We need to be independent. So that's where Africa is not going to. We are not driving into that direction. We are consuming. And the more we consume, the more we are giving away.
Yeah.
Either our money or our data or anything, we are giving away our human resources
Yeah.
because we are consuming from them.
That's so true. And there's currently a growing fear when it comes to AI, saying that AI is coming to wipe away our jobs. Like, but then in your view and being in this area, is AI a threat to Africa's economy, or maybe there's a rare opportunity to leapfrog into this new future?
Okay, talking about that, I'll be a bit broader because you see, the progress of artificial intelligence is inevitable, both in Africa or wherever you are. You can be in the USA, you can be in the UK. And just to tell you the truth is that even people in the USA and in the UK are not so literate in AI as many of us in Africa are. You understand? It's not an African dilemma, so to say. It's a human dilemma, so to say, because people who are doing things in a traditional way, they just think that a machine won't be able to do what it's doing. But they are now getting surprised time to time that a machine is actually doing things 10 times, even 100 times better than they would have done. So what I'm trying to say is that being broad is that AI is going to take many things away, but if you know AI, then you are safe, because if you know how to use AI, then what will happen is that the guys that do not know how to use artificial intelligence are going to be obsolete, while you will be on demand because people will look for people who know how to use AI to do whatever they want to do. An example would be if I'm a developer, right? You know, developers have lots of issues, you know, and I need like a team of 10 or even 20 of them to work on a certain kind of project. But with AI, I don't need 10 people, you know? I will just need one who will now run the agents that will help you code and program and debug. And I can even give you platforms. I can give you names of all the platforms that you can use to build, the platforms that you can use to debug, and the platforms that you can use to deploy. And all of them are 100% AI, meaning one person can do the job of 20 people.
Of 20 people.
Even 1,000 people it can do. Right now we're having factories, we are having places that it's 100% AI. So for you to be in the safe side, you still need humans. Why? Because AI can make what? Mistakes. So you still need humans to oversee those mistakes and correct it in the way you want it. So these humans, these few humans, are the ones that we out there, and they will be so valuable to the point that it's like, if you are a developer today, you will either be obsolete or you will be so valuable depending on what you know.
Oh.
So if you know how to use artificial intelligence, then you will be so valuable. And if you do not know how to use artificial, you will be obsolete. And this is not only for developers. It's actually going into every field, because AI is learning almost everything, including cooking.
Yeah, that's so true. And do you think artificial intelligence is being overhyped in Africa right now, or are we just chasing a buzzword without really solving like the real problems on the ground?
That's what one of the things that I used to tell my guys, and everywhere I go, is that the way they market AI, right, is just too, no, they're just too ahead of their time. But it does not mean that it's not coming. Are you understand what I'm saying? It doesn't mean it's not coming. It's really coming, but sometimes the marketing is just too over that's what's making people afraid. Most of them are afraid because they are thinking, oh, AI is gonna take our jobs, AI is gonna do this. So now they're afraid, and some of them are even fighting against it. Either you fight against it or you don't, it's gonna happen. So take this time to train yourself. Take this time to embrace AI in the holistic manner, so that you don't become a victim. Because all this marketing you're seeing today that people are doing, it's actually what's going to happen
in the future.
And if just a small philosophy of life, and something that rich people do or powerful people do. Before they launch something, what do? They leak it first. That's exactly all those Rockefellers, all those,
They leak
big
it
names.
first.
Yes. Before they release something, they leak it first. Why do they leak it? It's because of the noise. So they leak it when the noise is going. After a time, you see, wow, it's out. It's there. You cannot avoid it anymore. So let's take this time as the time of leaking information. So these marketings that you're seeing that look so outrageous, like it's not real. Yeah, it's the information being leaked because it's definitely coming. So in Africa, I would say it's the same thing that's happening. In the USA, it's the same thing that's happening all over the world.
Interesting. And okay, when it comes to now our governments and our institutions, are African governments and institutions ready to adopt and really regulate artificial intelligence responsibly? And if not, should private innovators bypass the slow governments to drive faster change, probably?
According to my knowledge and the things that you're thriving for, because you know that the institute, at AISOD Institute, we go to schools, and the experience that you're having is not that nice because of the bureaucracy that you have to wait and stuff like that, which is just making things slower for us and slower for the slow for the for the population, because what you're doing is for the benefit of the population. It's not really for us, because if you can check how much do we charge people, we charge people about 16,200. How much are you going to charge the kids? We are doing actually kind of for free, because we are giving them something for 200 for a whole month. It's actually free. What you're doing is just a token of, let me say, commitment. But what I want to say is that the system makes things run slow. And if things continue running slow, we are going to be behind while others are going to be in front. Look at China today. China has approved AI, and AI is actually everywhere from kindergarten to wherever you want to go, universities and on the top there. Same thing applies to the USA. What are we doing? We are not even having it in our curriculum. So we are way behind compared to all those countries. And what do you expect? To be colonized again, the same way they've colonized us in the software industry, even including the industrialization. We're still colonized because we didn't know how to use the machines. So we had to bring Chinese people, or we had to bring people from the West to come here to teach us, or to come here to actually do it first. Like I'm really serious. Look at the presidents that when the late president, went. One airplane. Are you telling me that we don't have not even a pilot that could pilot that kind of plane? It's a plane. You're not even talking about big stuff.
Yeah.
It's just a plane that a pilot can. So
What happened to the plane?
so what happened is that two Chinese guys, or I don't know if there were two or more, but the ones I saw in the picture were two. That those two guys were the ones to pilot the plane because no Namibian pilot could qualify to pilot that kind of plane or to fly that kind of a plane. So that's really, it's not acceptable.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable. You like, if I was a president or a politician, that could be a challenge for me. Meaning, my guys should be able to know everything.
Yeah.
So that's what we have to do. We have to challenge ourselves for knowledge, because if you're a leader, you need to know that one of the challenges of a leader is the challenge of superior knowledge. You have to have, like, if one of my guys knows better than me, I can't sleep. I have to go and learn the thing that he is bringing on the table. That's true. I cannot allow him to know more than me. He may know more than me. Yes, he will know more than me. I'm not saying that he won't, but I will not sleep. I have to go and learn that thing.
Oh.
Because I'm a leader. I need to think ahead. If people are thinking on 100%, I need to think after 20 years, after 5 years, after tomorrow, what's going to happen? You understand? Now, how will I be able to think that if I do not even know the whole concept of what is bringing to the table? See, that's why we lose people. And then they become great people while we had the opportunity to really work with them and get the best out of them.
Okay. And what would you say maybe is one blind spot about artificial intelligence that you think Africans, we urgently need to know?
Okay, the blind spot is what they're offering to us and all these marketing things that people are seeing.
Yeah.
It's really, that's really noise. You understand? So there's so much noise out there, and people are actually following the noise because it's quite easier to do and easier to deploy and use and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's just noise. There are things that are more important than the noise that we are listening to, which is building on things. Let's look at DeepSeek. So DeepSeek, they saw what the West did. What they did, they went to do their own. And they did it with, let me say, the USA used billions of dollars to build ChatGPT, OpenAI, and stuff like that. So the impression that you get is that, okay, if I want to build a large language model, then I have to have all that kind of billions and stuff. No, they built it with, like, let me say, not even 20% of the whole money that ChatGPT used to build OpenAI. You understand? So they built their own thing. They went against that thought, that fear that, okay, we need a lot of money, we are not going to succeed and stuff like that. Because that's what we have here in Africa. We're having that fear that, okay, we need a lot of money, we need a lot of things, we're not going to succeed. You can leverage on what already exists. There are many things that are out there that we can leverage on to build our own systems, to build our own language models, you see? Because even if we don't build our own language models, we can just build AI models that are particular to Africa. As long as we can stop them from colonizing us, then that will be fine. We don't want to colonize them, but at least we want to be free. So we need to build our own platforms, our own systems, everything. We need to build our own, just like China did. They built their own and they're independent. With or without the USA, they can thrive. That's what we need to look at. Even companies, even on individual levels, don't just consume other people's stuff. Build your own.
Build your own. That's so true. And I think now we have this thing of like, no, Africa, we don't have the resources, we don't have, because I don't know if we are looking at building something, we are looking at building something for the world, but not like for the African continent or something like that. We always say, no, we don't have the enough resources, we don't have what we need for us to be able to build such a software or such a thing, because they make it like you need this amount of money for you to be able to do that.
What happens is dependency. So when you're dependent, you don't find or you can't even see. You can't even see a way out because you are so dependent that you're blind. You become blind. You see, if you're in debt and you want to get out of debt, is it that's why it's important to be a business person because you will go through a lot of challenges, and those challenges will teach you on how to deal with other things of life. You see, one of them is this: how do you become independent? It's just like you being in debt. And then if you're in debt, what do you do? The first thing you need to do is to stop acquiring more debt. The moment you can stop, you have already, it's like you're 10%, you've given 10% of the solution already without even having to do anything. The fact that you've just stopped making like OE.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing. First, we need to stop depending.
Okay, speaking of dependency, if Africa fails to build like tech sovereignty today, the next generation inherits dependency. So, but if we get it right, they inherit opportunity. So, where are we at right now? Dependency.
We are like big time. We are big time depending on all of them, right? Which is, it's very bad, like very sad, but we still have a solution. We still have time. We still have time to really break through. The first thing we need to do is stop depending. After that, we need to build our own things for us. Don't think of Europe. Don't think of them. No. First of all, think on us. What can we do for ourselves so that we do not depend on them? And then we can now go to the second phase. You see, when you owe, you stop acquiring debt. Then you look on how you can pay the debt. You understand? So we have to look on how we can build for us, for ourselves, just to be neutral. Then when we build for ourselves, then we can now think on how to scale it for others, to use. That's where we can now say we are rich because people are now paying for our products. And I will tell you, I bet you they will pay because they need us. They'll pay.
Yeah, that's so true. So we are very much passionate about young people when it comes to youth leadership. So how can young Africans carve out a space for themselves in the artificial intelligence economy, and even without a formal education background or a formal tech background?
Look, today you cannot even rely on school because the school system was not even designed to make you a success. It was designed to give you a pattern of thinking, you understand? Which is not that bad because school gives you something that we call discipline. It's something that you would have not received if you're at home or whatever. So school gives you that discipline, that you need to wake up, go to school, come back, do this project, the teacher is going to take you, stuff like that. So that's really good about school. And then school also gives you a community. You get to meet friends and you get to know other people and other things, and you really get to enjoy your life while you're at school. Because if you are at home, you will not meet all those wonderful people, and some ideas will not even come to your head. So that I really love about school. But apart from that, the system was not the curriculum. Just go and check the curriculum. You will already know that no. It's not for me to be a success, but for me to have a way of thinking, which is an old way. The books we are reading, old. Everything that you are reading are very old. Where is the new information? It is not there. So what do you need to do? If you're at school or you've graduated or whatever, maybe you're working right now, there's something you can do. You can educate yourself because education is free. You don't really need to pay for education. This is exactly what I tell everybody that comes to our institution. We tell them that, look, you can educate yourself. The only reason why you have to, we even charge you to pay is because someone will have to be there to monitor you until you get to do what you have to do. But if not, you could just do it yourself. And then you can go to the internet. YouTube is there. It's free. It has information for, I don't know, any kind of information that you want, you'll find on YouTube, or you'll even find it on other free platforms. Because on marketing, there's something that we call lead generation. to get leads, you need to offer something. And you need to offer something what? Valuable.
Yeah.
It can't be something invaluable. So most platforms are offering valuable things, things that you would have paid millions of dollars. Something from Harvard, you could just get it for free by one of the teachers of Harvard who is teaching
Yeah.
it on YouTube. So why are you really thinking that you won't get the information? You'll get it. So just go, look for it, learn it, fill yourself with enough information about artificial intelligence. Then look out for a problem in the community, in the society, or even your own problem, because maybe you are the one who is having the problem. If you can fix it for you, that means that there are probably 10,000 or 100,000 or even 1 billion or even 2 billion people having the same problem as yours. It's already a market for business. It's a market for money.
Yeah.
And even if it's not a business, you could still work with a company that is solving or trying to solve that kind of problem. If you are driven by solution, then there's no way you can fail. And I'm not talking about things that you have to have big infrastructures. You can start with a phone. You can have a phone and do stuffs with a phone. You can create a website with a phone. Today, you can even create an app with a phone. I mean, a complete application that has the backend with a phone. So what are you waiting for? You just need a phone and internet.
And internet, yeah.
And you cannot even say, no, I don't have internet. There are places that internet is free. You can just go and have access to it. Or call your neighbor, ask for his Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi password, yeah.
You see, so you remember we used to go to public places where there is internet. We used to do that. We all went through that. So you can also go through that and still be successful today.
Interesting, hey? But also, like you said, with using free Wi-Fi, you need to give your data. So
It's not a problem.
Yeah.
It's fine. When you don't have,
Eh?
you need to give something
for you to get something.
for you to get, but don't give too much
Too
that
much.
you end up becoming dependent
Then,
on them. Like there's something that one of our mentors, my mentors, Dr. Chris Oyakilome, is he used to tell us that when you're on the asking phase, ask enough so that when so that you can later never ask again. You understand? Because you need to be so independent that you don't need to ask anymore. But you cannot stay, you can't keep asking and asking and asking as though your name is give me, give me, give me. You understand? So you need to work up a plan and you end up successful.
Interesting. Okay, you often say tech exists to make men king or men a king. So can you maybe unpack this philosophy and how should it shape the way African innovate?
So you see, when God created man, according to the Bible, if you read the Bible,
Yeah.
even if you're not a person who reads the Bible, let me just say you're a normal person and you have created a thing, maybe a car or something like that. Everything has its own purpose. But now, the purpose of man was to dominate the world, to dominate the earth and have dominion over everything upon the earth. So that means man from beginning was made to king. He was made to reign, not to be a servant. He's the one who named all the animals. He's the one who could define what is what and what is for what. So everything was there for men's use. By the way, even the world itself was created, let me say, man was created after the world. So the world was created first and then man was placed and everything had to listen to him. We are the only ones that can talk. You understand? We are the only ones who can think. We are rational. So we have a mind who can really be creative, who can imagine, and our imaginations can come to life. And we've seen this in many things.
Yeah.
Now, since that's the purpose, then everything, including technology itself, was made to help you become a better king. So technology is there to facilitate life, to make things easier for you. So if I was made to be a king, then technology was made, or is made, or it exists to make my life even easier, to make my kinging, I will say kinging, yes, my kinging, me reigning, easier than I could do without it. So technology amplifies who you are, your character, If you are a bad person, technology will just help you become a very worse person. Now, if you're a good person, it will help you become the best
The
person in the
best
world
person, and how you can make others good people as well.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you are pioneering artificial intelligence, but also very much rooted also in your faith. So how do these two worlds intersect for your like daily life?
You see,
Daily,
before everything came, you are first a Christian or you're first a human being. So I cannot be a technologist if I was not a human being. You understand? So I had to be a human being first for me to become
Yeah.
a technologist. So it's the same thing with Christianity. I'm a Christian first, then I'm other things. So as a Christian, I have principles that I live by. So those things didn't come today. They came before I even got to know how to read. You know, I was already going to church. My mother, my parents, they took me to church. Even if they didn't take you to church, but you need to know that you have principles that you
Yeah.
live by. It's just like you saying, okay, because I'm in the USA, I'm no more an African. You are still an African. Either you like it or not, you're an African. But there are principles that make us better than most people. You understand? Some of our principles is we respect. And you can go to UK, you'll know what I'm saying. Children insulting old people and stuff like that. Why? Because they don't have that principle. It's not a principle. For them, it's just another thing. You understand? So what I'm trying to say is you have to be a person or a man of principles.
Yeah.
That's why I love and I like Elon Musk. Because Elon Musk just gave us everything. He proved what I'm telling you today. Because we are saying that this privacy thing is not really real. What did he prove? He used one of his companies to buy another company, which is X in this case, to use the data of X for XAI. Who told you that Facebook is not doing the same thing? Does he need to buy Instagram or does he need to buy? He doesn't need to buy anything. It just belongs to him. So Elon Musk just, made it public. We all know. Do you understand? And even if you are really aware of what's happening in the world, even OpenAI, they are thinking on building their own social media, so to say, so that they can have more data to feed their AI with. But what I'm trying to bring into your mind is that truth is very important. As a Christian, I know I have to be truthful. It's a principle, you know. And then there are many principles that I have to follow or that I follow. But that does not mean that I cannot dominate the world. That does not mean that I should not strive, that I should not shine. So anything that I need to do for me to shine, I will have to do it as long as I maintain my principles as a person, as a Christian, and everything will just be good. And then the other thing is purpose. I have a purpose in life, and that purpose is not limited to just becoming a Christian. No, a Christian or Christianity is what you are, it is not what you do. Technologist is what I do. I'm not, it's not a nature.
Yeah.
I don't eat computers. You understand? You understand? I don't breathe computers.
Yeah.
But the life that I breathe, it's God's life. It's a life that God gave to me. So that is beyond what I do. So Christianity is not what I do, it's
Yeah.
who I am. And then technologies and all these things is what I do. But I need to carry the principles of who I am. I'm a Christian first, so I need to be truthful. I'm a Christian first, so I need to what? I need to learn. I need to be dominative. I need to dominate the world. The world cannot dominate me.
Yeah.
You see, these are the things, the mentality that you need to have as a young person.
Yeah.
That you need to dominate. So, as a young person, you need to learn so that you can dominate. Learn to dominate. Learn to dominate. Always think like that. I think like this. If it's AI that I need to learn, I'll learn AI so that I can dominate.
Okay. Interesting. And does this spiritual foundation ever like guided you through maybe you making a difficult decision either in business or innovation?
Yes, these are the main foundations that made me who I am. Because if you listen to Pastor Chris, which is He's a doctor, by the way. He's a very big inspiration
By
to all of us.
profession or by?
Yes. Like he went to he finished his school, university, and then he went for PhD. You know, he became a doctor and got another doctorate again, and then another one again. It's like kind of 3 or 4 somewhere there.
Interesting. Okay.
And then like honors, all those honorary things, and it's just a lot. So it's an inspiration to us because he's always studying, he's always learning. And then there are things that he will tell us that we will not even know that such things exist. But then when you go and study more, then why? Because man was made to dominate. God is the source of all knowledge. You understand? So I need to be knowledgeable. I cannot be ignorant because ignorance is more difficult than knowledge. Knowing is easier than ignorance.
Yeah.
So people who are ignorant, they suffer. Now, through these principles, through the followership that I have, and then through becoming a Christian, I could get into things that I didn't think it was possible because I just got into it by faith. You know, it's like I had faith that, okay, this thing will work. I didn't know how it will work. I didn't even know how it is, but I just went into it. And today, you see, that faith could drive me, could motivate me, and then I could get the right things. I could get the right information, could meet the right people. Those people are not going to come to you if you don't have the initiative. How did I meet one of the greatest AI guys in Namibia, the Morad? It's because I'm into AI, you understand? If I was not into AI, how will I meet him?
You won't even know that he exists.
You understand? So you need to get there. That's how you will now, it's like God will help you. He will guide you into many other things.
Have you always been a Christian, like who you are today, or is it something that you have to pick up from a certain stage of your life?
Okay, on my case, it's different because I've been a Christian ever since. Let me
But you haven't been this disciplined Christian as you are today.
You know, my parents are pastors, so my mom is a pastor.
Okay.
My father is a pastor, so even my brothers are pastors. It's something of the family. And me, I've been okay. That's very true. I've tried to run away, so to say. You understand, not to be a pastor because I've been looking at my life and I've been looking at my parents, and all of them have been like, oh, so I have to be like this. You
Yeah.
understand? So I didn't want to be a pastor because for me it was like boring. You understand? It's just church, God's work, and stuff like that. I was like, no, I want something, you know, more, something bigger, something,
yeah.
more intelligent. In school, I used to beat everybody, so I wanted something like that. But you see, the good thing is that I've learned that okay, Christianity is not only doing like the work of God, like meaning only going to church,
Yeah.
being a pastor or something like that. No, Christianity is beyond being a pastor. It's a life. It's you. It's who you are, and then you can do other things. So meaning I can do all these other things. I can be a technologist. I can be an IT guy. I can do business. I can do anything, as long as I keep my life, I keep my principles, because not being a Christian is like dying. You understand? So you are losing your principles. It's just like someone getting into drugs. You already know the future of this person without having to say anything about it. Yeah. So you need to know that life is beyond what you think. So when you dive into something, you need to get into it. Elon Musk gave us these platforms, and Elon Musk is one of the most controversial people in the world today. Why? Because he speaks of things that people don't know, but those are his cogitations and those are the thoughts that come into his head. And most of the times he ends up coming right. Let me say 80% of the time he will be right. In the beginning, it will be a controversial conversation, but later he will be right. So what I'm saying is, don't say, no, my thoughts are not important. No, speak them out. Good or bad, if you're wrong, you're wrong. Learn from it and move on. If you are right, at least you said it. Maybe you saved someone's life by saying it the same way that many of them are saving other people's lives by bringing it out.
Interesting. And like, do you believe that maybe someday an AI could like receive a prophetic word or a spiritual insight, or is that forever something uniquely just for like human, uniquely human thing?
So when we talk about prophecy, there are two folds into it, because there are prophecies that are already stipulated in the Bible. So those prophecies are already there about the things that are to come.
Yeah.
And they are the prophecies that happen on, like, now, today, for you. So those ones, I know AI cannot do such a thing, because prophecy is like foretelling of the word of God concerning someone's life. Although people still do, like, they tell you about something about you understand, maybe something that happened in the past and stuff like that. So all those things are just called revelations, which are already, or let me say, they are also part of the prophetic gift. You understand? But that is not prophecy. Prophecy is actually beyond telling you something about you. Is actually telling you the word of God about you, what God is saying about you. And God may not even say anything about your dress or your, something related to your physical being.
Physical, yeah.
He may tell you about your spiritual, let me say, who you are spiritually and where you have to be. And most of these things are already in the Bible. So you can recall prophecies from the Bible. And AI, you can even go to GPT, any Grok or Gemini, and ask him about prophecies about a Christian or about the end times. It will tell you why, because it's already in the Bible.
Bible. Ah.
But it won't be able to give you a live prophecy, so to say, the way a human being could do, because those ones are given by the inspiration of the Holy Spirit at a certain point in time. And those things are not only for prophets, because the Bible doesn't say that only prophets should prophesy. The Bible says that all the young men should prophesy or can prophesy, as long as you have the Spirit of God.
Really?
How do you prophesy about your life? How do you know the future of your life? It's through the Spirit of prophecy, which is the Spirit of God that works in you. He can give you an insight about what is to come about you.
Is it the Bible that say that all men who can prophesy must prophesy? Or like with
No,
the
it
Bible?
says, in the later days, I'll pour out my Spirit upon upon everyone, and the young men and women will prophesy. The old men will dream dreams. You can find this in Acts chapter 2.
Oh.
And then you can also find it in Joel as well. In the book of Joel chapter 2 as well, verse 28. You see, so it was a prophecy of the past that came to pass in Acts, in the day when, the day of Pentecost, when they received the Holy Spirit. And
The
now,
disciples.
yes, and now it is available to everyone, because the Spirit of God is already in the earth. So it can help everyone, not only the prophets. It can help even you as a Christian. So if you need guidance, you can pray to God. God can guide you. You can read the Bible. The Bible can guide you. So you don't need a prophet.
So this prophetic, like you being a prophet or one being a prophet, it's like it's a real thing that this person is a prophet.
It's just like you coming to me. I'm a technologist. I can help you. But if you go to someone who is not a technologist, he can help you according to what he knows. You understand?
Yeah.
For example, you can go to someone who doesn't really understand IT. So that person can help you according to his understanding, and it will stop there. But if you come to me, I can help you. I can help your whole problem. If it's a software, I can build the whole stuff from scratch until I'm done.
Yeah.
You understand? While a person who is not specialized into it, he can help you until where he will stop. So that's the difference between a prophet. A prophet is an office where he operates in. So he's into this thing. He knows the signals and everything that the Spirit of God can tell him. But you're not into that. So you can get guidance, you can get many things, but it won't be the same as a prophet. That's why most of the prophets, some of them, they're not even Christians. Some of them are into witch doctors, stuffs. You know why? Because it's a gift. They have the gift, but they're not doing it for the right purpose. So you cannot really speak bad about them because it's just a lack of knowledge which may happen to anybody in this world.
I see. But if somebody asks you, ne, like, how do I know that God is real? How does God really exist? Like, how do I know?
Okay, that is quite a challenging question for many because according to the Bible, you can let us say recognize God's presence through nature. You know, through the creation, you can already know that there is a God in this earth. You understand? Because starting from the cosmos
Yeah.
or the universe that you can call, or the galaxy, as you can say, why is it that organized the way it is organized? It should be because of someone's design. Because you, if you're a designer or you're a software developer or whatever you call yourself, no matter what it is, you know that you have to program things. Nothing happens by itself. Even knowledge, what do we say? Knowledge is progressive.
Yeah.
You cannot come with a new knowledge. Like, you cannot just wake up today and say, okay, I have a new knowledge and yeah, things are not like this. No. You need to follow the methodology of scientific investigation. So it's a process. It's something that you need to organize. So how did things become organized? The point that it got like this is because there's a mastermind somewhere.
Behind it.
It may not be a God that you know, but you will obviously know that there's someone out there behind all these things that are happening.
Interesting. So you have navigated between global tech spaces, ministries, and development sectors. So how have those experiences shaped your thinking, and how do you keep it grounded in the reality of the African continent?
You see, talking about the African continent, I'll just start with that. It's essential, actually, not just it's not just something that we have to do. It's very important that we do things for the African context and for the African continent. Context because there are many Africans who are outside the world, you know, doing stuff. Yeah. But continent because we are in here and there are things that do not exist where we are. You see. So being a Christian, there's something that you will know from the Bible that man was made in the image of God. God is a creator. So we have to create. You understand? That's why you have your mind. Your mind is your creative ability, capability is your mind. Your mind has the ability, it has the capability to create things. So you need to create things. And it's very essential for Africa because in Africa, it's so inspiring that we have this need. So now we need to create, we need to do things for us. We need to shift from the consumer to the producer.
Producer, yeah.
You need to produce, we need to, because man was made to be productive and fruitful. You can't be fruitful if you're not productive. And you cannot be productive if you're not what? Creative. So you need to use your creativity and build stuff, build solutions. So you see the way my Christianity shifts me. I do not allow myself to be unproductive. I cannot sleep and eat. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna happen. If I didn't work, I'm not gonna eat. That's it.
That's that's the principle you have.
So Africans should think like that. Don't sleep if you didn't. If you're not productive, you know you didn't produce anything. Don't even eat. Don't eat and don't sleep. Go and produce something first, then eat. And these things are principles in the Bible. Why is Elon Musk the richest man in the world? He works more than you. You understand? He thinks, he creates, and then he works. He puts his hands on it. He makes it work. He makes it happen. Look at what is happening, what he's doing. You know, everything about him is headline everywhere. That's the kind of a person that you should be. You should be productive, creative, productive, and fruitful. Meaning that don't just produce anything, because people most of the time they just do things. They don't do fruitful things.
Fruitful thing, yeah.
So you need to produce things that are fruitful.
Okay.
Like in the AI space, there is so much space for you. Like AI made everything easy. Let me tell you one of the good things that artificial intelligence did for human beings that people don't understand. Long time people used to keep knowledge because they would want to sell the books. You understand? They want to sell the things. Then came this YouTube stuffs and blah, 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 which was so nice. But the problem, how do you navigate your way on YouTube to find the right content that will really get you from the beginning till the end and give you premium knowledge?
Yeah.
It was still a bit hard. But now these large language models like GPTs, Clouds, Grok, and all these ones that can give you all this knowledge in like a blink of an eye, like 1 minute, everything is there. You see, it democratized knowledge. It made it accessible to everyone, even to the one that doesn't have a dime to pay for it, because it's even free.
It's very,
You see,
it's already there.
so you have the knowledge, then use the knowledge. Because you see, when you say that someone is wise, wisdom is not something that revolves in the mind. Wisdom is action. It's a force. It's a force that makes you do the right thing. So the moment you do not act upon the knowledge, it's still knowledge. You are still knowledgeable, but you are not wise. The wise is the one that acts upon the knowledge.
Interesting. The wise is the one that acts upon the knowledge. Interesting. So, you know, Joel, you wear so many hats. You are an entrepreneur, a technologist, you are a translator, you are a leader, and you are also somebody who is also like with a very strong belief or very rooted in faith as well. So could you maybe take us back to the beginning? What sparked your interest or your journey, and what inspired you to build AISOD technology? AISOD technology.
So in the beginning, I would say that it all starts with you, because there's something that Dr. Chris, in this case, Pastor Chris Hoyakilome always tells us, that to be a success is to look for a human need and meet it. So there is a need, there should be a need, and we know that there are needs all over, everywhere. People need solutions. This is the time where problems are even more than they used to be. You know, each day that passes by, more problems come.
Yeah.
And then I've known artificial intelligence for quite a long time, because even at school, I was already learning about AI.
Which school is that?
That was IEC.
AIC.
Yeah, it's a Brazilian university.
Okay.
So that's where I was doing my technologist of system analysis and development. So we're learning how to build systems, how to analyze systems and stuff like that. So we're also learning about artificial intelligence. That's where I even, you see, my mind was broad open, because I went through 3 universities, and then I went to IEC. IEC opened my mind, you see. So we learned these things, and that's where I knew that Google was in this thing for quite a long time.
Yeah.
But they were using it in the back, not in the front. You know, people didn't know that all the search engines that you use, all those things, are actually powered by artificial intelligence. Today, everyone is celebrating ChatGPT, thinking that ChatGPT is the pioneer of these things. The transformer was not even made by Google, by ChatGPT.
Yeah.
It was made by Google. It's just that Google did not optimize it to the GPT that we're having today. But it was already using it on the search engine to tell you, like, for example, when you go and search something online, the one that will give you all the one that will tell you which company you can use. And then they would use that artificial intelligence to foster their companies, the ones who paid for the ads, so that they can come first in the search engine. So that's what Google was doing. That's why when ChatGPT came, their aim was to beat what? Google, to outdo Google, which is something that you cannot just do and outdo it that fast, because it's a system that's there. You know, it's already embedded in human minds.
Yeah.
And Google also built their own stuff, which is Gemini and all these other Bard, you know, these other solutions that they are still building or working on, so that they can also be competitive in the market. So you need to understand that there are needs everywhere and every time, and you need to meet that need. So when in a program called Your Level Specials with Pastor Chris, he said that the things that will be, how do I even say, the things that will trend in the future, that to really train in the future, he was mentioning them, and he was talking about software development, AI. He spoke about data, cybersecurity, and all these things. Then I started mapping out my life according to all the information that he was giving to us. By then, I was already owning a software development company.
Oh,
Yes.
which year was that probably?
That was 20, because I owned the company from 2017, 18, 19, 2020. And, I've been owning that company for quite a long time. And then I sold a part of it to somebody else. And then I was thinking of the next thing. Then went to e-business, e-commerce. And then I was just mapping it out. And since I already had a bit of knowledge, just slight knowledge about artificial intelligence, then I said, okay, I think I also need to dive into this thing. And then not social security, but cyber security. That's why today we are not just into AI, we're also into AI security. Because you need to know how to protect yourself from all these things that are happening out.
Yeah.
You cannot outcompete a computer. So you need to use a computer to fight another computer. It's just like, look, you can be Mike Tyson, but if you are trying to fight a robot, the moment you punch the robot, the one who's going to feel the pain is still you again. So you need another robot to fight another robot. So I've begun to find solutions, and it was very clear that most of AI services are not optimized. I'm talking, this is way before ChatGPTs and all these things. I've been thinking of this long time.
Really?
And then even in 2021 to 2022, I wrote a book about generating codes with AI. You see, those knowledge came to me before GPTs and all these platforms were actually generating codes for people. And then I've been talking about all these innovations, these things that are coming that were not there that time, but they are already here today. You understand? So God can give you ideas. Or if you can really focus on your knowledge, it may not even be God, because your mind is already crafted for creativity. So you can really be creative enough to think about the future before it even starts happening. I was in Africa. I was not even outside Africa that time.
Abroad and all that, and you think about all these things. But then, like, was there maybe a moment of doubt along that journey of yours, and maybe like where you feel like, this thing might not work, or like just a moment of like you doubting yourself, and how did you maybe overcome it?
Okay, one thing you need to understand about life is that there are many voices. There's the voice of doubt that comes, and there is also the voice of faith, which is your own inspiration that you get either by yourself or from God. Wherever these voices are coming from, for me, I know where they are coming from. But for others, they may not know where the voices are coming from. If it's a self-voice, like a self-inspiration, because people say you are a self-inspired or self-motivated person, which is true in a sense. But if it was not for the word of God, I could not be that motivated, because where was the faith going to come from? See, at least I have that faith that God is going to help me in this thing that I'm doing. You understand? So the voice of doubt can come, but I always do not listen to it. Even if I don't have money, I still make plans, billion-dollar plans that I do not even know where the billions are going to come from. I just make the plans, and when the money comes, voila, it's there.
It's there.
Things that, like, for example, how much money do you really think we've used over a year in AISOD? You understand? How much money do you really think? It's over 1 million already. You understand? I can be precise. Just till last year, 1,330 something thousand. You understand? We used all that money, but I didn't have the money. I didn't even know where the money was going to come from. And it didn't even come at once. It came small, like, this project, that project, that project. You understand?
Yeah.
So you just do the plan. Just be creative. Put it out there. Where the resources will come from, that's not your problem. Someone is looking for that plan. He didn't even think about it, but he has the money.
Yeah.
You understand? At least you are having the brain. You do the thinking, do the plan. Get as much knowledge as you can. to make it work. A prepared man will be connected to the resources that are required for him. A non-prepared man will be connected to the people that he needs to prepare him again, like to make him prune.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens. When you're not ready, you'll be pruned. Otherwise, it will be what we call a mistake. Because sometimes money lands or money gets into the hands of the wrong people. People were not ready for it. What do? They look for the one who is ready. So if you are ready with the solution, people will look for you. Do you want to look for money? Or you want money to look for
To
you?
look for you, exactly.
Yeah, people are looking for us, for you, for me. They're looking for us. We just need to be ready.
Yeah, exactly. So like maybe like with AISOD.TECH now, it sounds like a disrupting the old way of building softwares. And how exactly does your approach, service optimization for development, create real change for businesses, governments, and communities?
So this is the thing. Software development, or let me say, our slogan states using AI to develop, fastening ROI, right? The scenario is this. When you go to a company and you ask for something, okay, I want this thing to be built, they'll tell you it will be done in 6 months or even a year or 3 months. It depends if they already have a stack that is there for quite a time or if they have a big team that can develop that. Even if you are in a company that has their own developers,
Yeah.
when you take the things to developers, what happens? They will just go and ask them which department is the most like hated one. They'll tell you it's the IT department. Why? Because there is where all the good ideas go and die. They die there because of the time of what? Of development. That is quite difficult, or let me say, it just takes time, and then all the inspiration is gone. That's when the app or the software is ready. When everything is now, the inspiration, everything is gone.
Yeah,
You're tired. Now they'll bring the solution. So to foster that, people came with different solutions, like the no-code manifesto from Emmanuel Stagnov, the founder of Babo.
Yeah.
You see, he said, why in our world are we having to learn computer language? A computer is not supposed to learn our language. So computers were the ones who were supposed to learn our language. And when we speak in English, it does what we want it to do, not the other way around. Now, people go to university. They stay years learning like how to code and stuff like that. Do you know how many years I stayed in my university? It was 3 years. Technologies is 3 years. It's not more than that. You can even do it in 2 years.